Morning tubers, it's Monday, May 18th, that's the time, that's the 10th. Last night I came out here after dinner and worked for about an hour, hour and a half. And we've got the whole left side all sanded down. It's going to need another coat of filler for right here in this crack. This is where I welded this piece in, and there's the joint that's been ground down, so we need something just a little bit right in there. Still got to rechafe these threads, so I'm not too worried about this up here. I could sit there and disregard this because the plate goes over it, but and see, we got this one fairly good, but we'll see what happens. So now we need to move on this way from here and move this way. So we'll start here. We got to sand this here. This has still, and then continue on here. We'll continue this way. Got something up here we got to still do. And so we'll see what happens. So I think there might be one more coat of Bondo to go on this, on a few areas, but the majority looks to be good, and so that's where we're at. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Well, we put the fourth coat, should be the last coat, and then we clean it up, and then we'll get ready and we'll start wet sanding. And hopefully in primer today, and then sit there and look and see if we need any glazing or spot putty on it, air bubbles or stuff in the body filler, and prime, wet sand, and then we'll shoot black. And that'll be probably later today or maybe tomorrow. We're not rushing it, taking our time, getting it done right, hopefully. Later, guys. Hey, tubers. We're done with the rough sanding. Now on to the finish sanding. It's looking pretty good. But you got to hit it with, we're going to hit it with, was it 220, then 400, then give the first coat of primer. We'll do etch and let that dry, then we'll do regular gray primer on top of that. We'll see how that comes out. I'm going to take the base switch out here. I already took the two toggles there off. That's just us. And we'll remask this up before we paint, and see where we're going to go. So let's get the shop vac out and get this thing cleaned up before we, with doing wet sanding, make a big mess in here. And then we'll go on to wet sanding, then we'll remask, then we'll shoot some paint, and we'll see. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey, tubers. Yeah, I used tin foil on the top because no masking tape will stick to the pad. So we just stuck it up there, and it's taped underneath. So it'll do good. We're going to do some self-etch, and then we'll let that set up, and then we'll do some regular gray primer and let that set up. I suspect I got some air holes and little spots that I'm going to have to use spot putty on, and we'll do that once we get gray primer on it and see where it sits. And other than that, that's where we're at. So when I shoot this, I'll bring you back later. It's got etch on it, and it's reacting to something right there. Look at it. So we'll have to sand that down. But other than that, it's good. So we'll let her dry, probably for a couple hours. And this might be it for today, though. But, yeah. So, yeah, the only thing is I did lose that line in the dash going up. And there's nothing I can do about that. I could take a cutoff wheel and try grinding it in. But there's a lot of metal there. So, we'll have to think about it. We got time. We're going to let it dry. I'm going to go ahead and load this up for today. And I'm happy. Be happier once it's all done and I could sit there and start putting the stereo back in. So, that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, and of course leaving comments. I wonder what smuts was on there to sit there and... because there definitely wasn't any. So, and it was cleaned really good. That's okay. We'll sand it down and clean it again. And if we have to, we'll hit it with etch again. So, that's all I got for now. Later, guys.